the whole cliche thing. Like, he wants to win in whatever he's doing. You're hanging out, he's doing Sudoku or crosswords, and he's telling you how he's going to beat you and you have no chance. And I'm telling him, great. Yeah, I don't care. I don't even know how to do Sudoku, man. And he loves it.
Welcome into the Hurry Up. Week 3 of the NFL season is in the books. We're looking forward to week 4, and we're going to call this one the Revenge Show. And so I brought in two guys I'd want to have on my side if I was looking to get revenge. On one side of me, you guys are going to see former Patriots linebacker, now with NBC Sports Boston, Ted Johnson. Ted, welcome in. And to my right, I think, to my left, I can't tell which one, is A.J. Hawk, former Ohio State linebacker, former first-round pick, Green Bay Packer. Both these guys are Super Bowl champions. You can catch A.J. Hawk on the Pat McAfee Show. And that's where we're going to start, guys, with the concept of revenge here. And, there's a reason why I brought the two of you guys in, because both of you guys have special insight into what something like this is like. And so, Ted, I want to start with you. Having played with Tom Brady for 5 years, having played for Bill Belichick for 5 years, I want you to start with a very basic question here. Are these guys keeping score? And does this one matter to them? Because it may be, and I think it almost certainly will be, the only time these two guys get to go head-to-head.
Yeah, well, it's good to be on with you guys, first off. But I will say absolutely, Bert, they're keeping score. The one thing is about the two guys, Belichick and Tom, is that they're not going to let you know that, except, some of maybe the Tom's thinking was revealed when his dad went on with Tom Curran last week, and Tom Curran asked him if he felt Tom Brady Sr. if he felt that his son was vindicated by winning the Super Bowl, if he was vindicated, and he said, "Damn right, my son feels vindicated." And so we know how Tom Brady feels about his time here in New England just by what his dad, Tom Brady Sr., said last week. And so these guys, there's a lot there. I mean, 20 years. There's a lot of different issues that they have had that some have been made known public. But really what is confusing to a lot of people in the region is just whose fault was it? Who didn't want who? Why is Tom not here? And those answers, those questions might never be answered, at least while Tom and Bill are still, playing and coaching. So, but they are keeping score. They won't tell you that, but they absolutely are. Both of them are very prideful guys. And Bill Belichick in particular, he cares about this stuff more than he lets on. He gives this, kind of has this personality and disposition as if to say nothing bothers him and he just moves on. That couldn't be further from the truth. He cares very deeply about this kind of stuff. He just never wants to show it. And that's part of what makes him so good. It's very hard to get a read on Bill.
And AJ, you got like really good insight to this sort of situation, because the only comp I can think for this game at all is 2009 and Brett Favre going back into Lambeau as a Viking. So I just want to start with you on kind of what that week was like for you guys, and how just a storyline that it seems like everybody on the outside is obsessed with was addressed inside the building, how you guys were handling it as players.
I mean, I think as players, you don't really sit there and talk about it day to day as the week goes on. You're installing Wednesday morning. Yeah, we're watching the film, seeing what they're doing. But I think the biggest thing that happens when you have a big game like that, or something like what Brett Favre's coming back to Lambeau in a Vikings uniform, you just have to deal with it with the media. Like, you're 2 or 3 days at, you're in the locker room talking to the media after practice. That's pretty much the only question every player is getting asked. Like, how are you going to handle this with Brett? Oh, did you watch Brett growing up as a kid? Did you play with Brett? I played 2 years with Brett. My first 2 years there, he was the starter, Aaron Rodgers the backup, and then Brett tries to come back after he retires. There's this whole drama situation. He goes to New York, and then bam, he's with the Vikings, like one of our biggest rivals in Green Bay. And he came back to Lambeau, and there's a lot of hype leading up to it. I'm sure it was kind of a weird situation for Brett. I remember him running out of the visitors' tunnel and stopping, because he's been there, 16 years, however many it had been. I mean, Brett made a lot of people Packers fans, I think. I know myself as a kid, I always enjoyed watching the Packers because I was a Brett Favre fan. And I remember Brett coming out of the tunnel and seeing the trainers and equipment people, all just the different people that he's built relationships with kind of behind the scenes, and see him hugging them and everything on the way out. And I was thinking, okay, maybe this will be like an emotional situation. He's not going to be able to play very well. And then Brett comes out and just lights us up and just torches us, and we never had a chance.
How do you think Bill will address it, Ted? I mean, you've been in these sorts of situations before with Bill in that room, and I mean, I can think of stories from your years, like Lawyer Malloy getting cut right before the season. How do you think Bill will address it? Do you think Bill will try to ignore it, or do you think he's going to kind of take it head on Wednesday morning with his team?
Yeah, he'll take it head on, but he's not. What's going to be a tough sell for Bill, because what Bill's going to want to do is try and how do you get this team, this Patriots team, to hate Tom Brady or to want to beat Tom Brady because of all the stuff that happened previously and the way the relationship ended. It's going to be very difficult because most of these guys are new, and the guys that are still on this team that played with Tom, they don't have all they have is respect and love for Tom. And so, what Bill is going to miss from a motivational kind of tactic and tool, if you will, is the fact that these guys that are here all admire and think Tom's great. And the guys that played with Tom that are they're still on his team, they feel the same way. And so he's not going to be able to, kind of use what happened with him and Tom as an advantage in motivating this team. So, but he will address it as far as, hey, if you're asked this question during the week, we don't care about that stuff. We're just focused on the game. And that's how he'll address it. I mean, you can conversely on the other side, Tampa Bay, a huge psychological chip that they have in their favor is not only, Tom's coming back, but all these guys want to win for Tom because, hell, Tom brought them relevance and a Super Bowl last year. And so they feel like they owe it to him. So just those two different approaches in psychology from the two teams, I think there's a huge advantage for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just when it comes to that piece. And AJ can tell you, maybe not as much in the NFL, but, at the lower levels. So you need all the emotional advantages and psych advantages that you can have, chip on your shoulder kind of anecdotes going into a game as you can to help you win that football game.
Aaron Rodgers came back on Sunday night, guys, and I think we saw a vintage performance from him in the fourth quarter of that game. Makes the couple throws to Devontae Adams to get them in position to kick the game-winning field goal over a really good Niners team. So, AJ, I'll start with you here. Do you look at a night like that as maybe a chance for Aaron and the Packers to turn the page on everything happened in the offseason? That doesn't mean it's not going to come back up in January and February, but just for the guys who are involved in the day-to-day, the week-to-week, the coaches and the players, do you think it's possible that maybe winning that sort of game on the road, on that stage, in that fashion, can maybe help the Packers turn the page and focus on what's happening over the next 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, I think so. And even if they don't even have to really talk about it, but they, maybe got rid of some demons, winning the game out there, beating San Fran on their field, and especially the way they did it when you thought, okay, San Fran won, then you're looking, well, it is Aaron. I think you may have left him a little too much time, and then they just execute perfectly with Devontae Adams. It was unbelievable. I thought what was really cool was when they finally spiked it, seeing Aaron just spike it and then just instantly, like, huge fist pump, so excited because he knows that Mason Crosby is going to drain this 51-yarder to win a game out here. It was pretty cool, I think, like his trust in the teammates and how much juice that probably gave Mason in the moment too. But I think there's a little bit, I think Aaron even talked about it, didn't he, after the game? Like, we needed this, and now we know how to win. And you do have to kind of learn how to win. You don't want a bunch of young guys just kind of look around, okay, well, who's going to step up and make a play? Like, Aaron's going to bail us out here. Like, no, you need everybody to be thinking like, hey, what can we do? How are we going to make a play and win this game? And I think that'll go a long way. But hey, if you go lay an egg next week, none of it matters. Like, it's such a week-to-week thing to where one week this team's the greatest ever, the next week they're terrible. So it's hard to judge them on that. You just can't kind of get on that roller coaster if you're playing on the team or you're coaching those teams.
Where do you think his head's at? Because I think there was this perception out there, like after the New Orleans game, is the guy distracted? Is football really number one for him anymore? And then they fall behind against the Lions, and they're trailing at the half of that game. And now they put 6 really good quarters of football together. So, like, just kind of, going into his 17th year in the league and kind of who he's been and where he's going, like, where do you think Aaron's head's at right now?
I mean, from everything he says and what he's doing, like he seems to be in a great spot. Yeah, he's doing this whole new age Zen. They all post on Instagram, all the love and light, everything, which is great. I love it. Hey, man, grow your hair out, sweet beard, do it. And I think whatever he wants to do, he should. But I mean, just watch Yeah, I know after week one, people were thought like, oh, he's not interested, he doesn't care, like, oh, whatever. And then after the San Francisco game, of course, we saw like how much he wanted to win, how much of a competitor he is. And you were talking about Belichick and Brady earlier, like, yeah, those guys both. I don't. I've actually like I would love to have played for Bill Belichick at some point. I'm just always intrigued on what it's like in there to play for them. But I am assuming, and I'm pretty sure he's probably one of the most competitive people there is. Like that's
Mhm.
elite performers always are, and that's what Aaron is for sure. It's the whole cliche thing. Like he wants to win in whatever he's doing. You're hanging out, he's doing Sudoku or crosswords, and he's telling you how he's going to beat you, and you have no chance. And I'm telling him, great, yeah, I don't care. I don't even know how to do Sudoku, man, and he loves it. So I think he's a unique dude, and there's many different like things in his life that he's passionate about. And I think now it's cool to see as he's gotten older, like he's not really scared. He's not trying to hide anything. He's, hey, this is what I do. This is how I operate, and whether you like it or not, like I'm not going to sit there and hide from it. And I think it's cool to see.
All right, our last topic for the week: the Los Angeles Rams make a major statement on Sunday against the Buccaneers. They were up by double digits, guys, for the last 22 minutes of that game. And I want to ask about where they're going to stack up in the hierarchy of the league coming out of that. But I want to start here. And I think we all sort of heard the hype, and it was coming from a lot of people inside that building of where the team could go with Matthew Stafford as the quarterback. And I've always sort of felt like there's been a divide in how the public's seen Matthew Stafford and how people in the league, players, coaches, look at him. I've always felt like players and coaches held him in higher regard than maybe the general public did. Is Matthew Stafford better this year? AJ, I'll start with you. You were in the division with him. Is Matthew Stafford always been this guy, and it just took being in this sort of situation to bring it out and to show it to everybody? Or is this a better version of Matthew Stafford than we've ever seen?
I mean, he may be playing better than he has, but I think he's always been like this guy. He's always been a stud. And I played him twice a year. I was in Green Bay for 9 years. So I played him twice a year for a long time. And I always had like the biggest reason why I think he didn't get put in that like that next level, or people didn't talk about him as much as a quarterback, just because Detroit didn't have a ton of success. Like, and they weren't on a bunch of national games. Like, it's amazing what a couple primetime games will do for a team when a quarterback or someone else has like breakout games. Like, it has a lasting impact. And Stafford just didn't have a whole lot of opportunities in those kind of games. But man, the guy was so good. Like, he could do everything. Like you talk about throwing from any arm angle, being super athletic. And I think the thing that players and coaches respect the most is Matt Stafford he may be the toughest dude on whatever team he's playing on. Like what he played with a broken back a year or two ago, whatever it was, the dude was absolutely just a savage and a fierce competitor. And I had a ton of respect for him. And he's like, there was no question of who was leading that team, who was in charge of that offense when he was playing in Detroit. And it looks like the same thing out in, for the Rams. And man, Sean McVay seems very excited with all the weapons he has and what they can do now. So they're going to be a team everyone's going to be watching late in the year.
So, Ted, we'll start with you here. Are the Rams the best team in the NFL right now?
Yeah, I mean, arguably, yeah, they're one of the best teams. They might be the best team. I mean, they just beat the defending Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, with that defense and Aaron Donald and a highly motivated Matthew Stafford and a giddy coach. I mean, I would say this about Sean McVay: settle down, coach. I mean, his reaction at halftime of that game was, I was like, okay, dude, it's a long season, settle down. But they feel very, very good about themselves, and as they should, because Matthew Stafford, him going to this team, he wants to validate his career, and he wants his legacy to end on a high note. So he's highly, highly motivated, and we know. They have the weapons on offense and the coaching is great on that side of the ball, and they just have a complete team. And so, yeah, I can't imagine that, at this point, maybe a better team. Kansas City's lost 2 in a row, so their confidence is shaken. So I would definitely say, Bert and AJ, that the Rams at this point in the season look to be like the best team in the NFL.